We already have recruitment here. Which, yeah, makes Aristu clergy allowed to fight, and it can be either temporal or revocable. That's what I definitely want. I actually kind of like this idea. Position of the head of faith is given to the founder of the faith and is passed on through their primary heir when they die. If the faith has great holy wars, the head of faith is allowed to direct the war and choose who the war target will be. Position of the head of faith is given to prominent clergy member. Head of faith can grant claims to landed titles, pious adherents. Head of faith can grant gold to pious adherents. So, one of the nice things about spiritual head of faiths is that you can use them as a support system. So Catholics can basically spend piety to get money. But I also like the idea that this is a new faith which is being literally created by Innkeeper. Only 200 piety, a few more raids and you get it. You don't get piety for raiding. I'm getting so much piety just because my piety per month is so good. And Pluralist will make it easier to move around the world. However, Righteous would make it a heck of a lot easier to establish these little enclaves, which is what I wanted to do. Oh, nice, Katie. If you're going to make yourself head of faith, you might want to set divorce to, or has to ask head of faith, whatever that's called. So people are always giving you things to divorce their wives. Yeah, but it's a Norse thing that divorce is always allowed. I get your point, but that's one of the facets of the Norse faith that I actually really liked. I'm just not sure that I want temporal. I actually kind of got annoyed that my title became Folkir in CK2 when you reformed the faith. I kind of like the idea of having a spiritual head, but also this is a very Innkeeper thing to do. And that's also why we're getting legalism. What came second in the poll? Oh, it was the, actually. Let's set this back to none. Let's set that back to theocratic. And instead of legalism, we take unrelenting faith. Hell, why don't we go legalism instead of ancestor worship? Because this is a properly Mordling religion. And we could even have a spiritual head of faith then. And we can afford this. With the heirs mummy issue, will the religion have problems for you in the future? Shouldn't do. Thought in Mordred's religion we worshipped good business deals. I mean, legalism is what allows you to make deals and have them enforced by law. Change the doctrines later. Yeah, that's something we can do. Like, once we've reformed, we can change the doctrines. It'll cause some heresy issues, but also, if we have enough piety, we can just enforce it. And I don't know if religions within themselves can reform in this way, or if the tenet is how you create heresies. I don't know about that, because I haven't played a Catholic long enough. This is all new territory for me. Surprised they didn't set it to divorce female only, since in Norse laws only the women could ask for divorce. I think it was only women. I'm pretty sure it was either. It was unusual in that women could ask. Pretty sure it wasn't women only, though. It was just very easy for a woman to get divorced. She basically just said, I divorce you and it's done. Will we go full egalitarian? We shall see. Haven't decided yet. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and reform this now. And we'll see how the doctrinal thing works in the future. That is being saved. So I'm just going to save the game here. Because this is kind of a big step. Did I press the right thing? Pretty sure I did. Yeah, reform. Unrelenting faith, ritual celebrations, and legalism. Old Usteru, and we are now Usteru. Unfortunately, I can't rename it. But we are the organised Norse faith. It's done. So if we wanted to change the doctrines in the future, it is a new Norse faith. And that you can name. Okay, I think that's more interesting. And yes, you can change the tenets, but that gets very expensive very quickly. What was this one again? Prowess. So there we go. It's done. Oh, you can change the icon as well. We can make it a boat. I declare making bad business deal punishable with the abdication of business, Admiral Pope I, founder of Mordred's religion. So there we go. Usteru has now been founded. And it is a reformed faith, which means it is more susceptible to fervour. But it's also much more difficult to convert people away from it. So it is established. And now I can quite happily lose Trondheim and Sjelland without caring. So we can focus more on the Netherlands. Fantastic. Okay, that's really cool. And that is also, most importantly, one more step in the path of becoming feudal. All we need now, and this is so irritating, is every single tribal era innovation. And we are a long way away from that, like probably 200 years away from that. We need all of these completed. And the only one we've gotten since we started 60 years ago is Mott's. The others we started with. Time to knowledge up. Well, the problem is I can't. The only one who can actually modify knowledge at all is the cultural head, which currently is the King of Sweden. I can't see that changing. Like, even though I have this fantastically knowledgeable character, no effect on technology, and he's sitting here on a learning of 8. He's focusing city planning. I mean, we have almost finished city planning because of that focus, but still taking a while, and look how close we are in all of the others. Like, their progress will go up as we increase development, and the average development of Norse counties has actually gone up from plus 0.03 to 0.06, most likely because of my taking of the Dutch territories, which is boosting our average development. So that is going to speed up because of that, and also I think just time is increasing development. And then as we have an adjacency, so the reason we got Mott's is because somebody who was adjacent to us had Mott's. Onagers. We're getting Onagers. Exposure shares religion with the Armenians. And the Armenians apparently already have onagers. Oh, now that's interesting. How did we share our religion with the Armenians? What's that even mean? If you convert cultures to your faith, you can develop from their development. Yeah, I know, I've been actively doing that. Which is why... Where is it? There. You will notice that the Netherlands is going a lovely shade of blue. As is Ireland, in fact. But... Russia isn't. Not yet. And we are actively converting as well. Everything I own in the Netherlands is being converted. As are my vassals. My vassals are doing it as well with their own councils. So I think I need to just continue expanding in this area because it's a high development zone. I don't really want to fight against Gardariki, but I will if I have to. Otherwise, it just means another war against Lotharingia, and Lotharingia is so weak at the moment. Oh man, that's another opportunity right there. Hey, Zatalia, thank you very much for the raid. Welcome to the channel. Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing today? What were you playing, Crusader Kings? And if so, as whom? Pretty much always one innovation that you are receiving by studying another culture. It's like fascination, but you don't get to choose it, and another culture has to already know it. Oh, but just one? Take Normandy from France and found the Norman culture, so your culture ahead of your own culture. I mean, actually, if I wanted to do that, I could have just taken over Dutch. But I kind of like the idea of Norsifying everything as well. So eventually I'm expecting to become the head of the Norse culture. But that's going to take some time. Especially because of my reluctance to take a throne. Because we could become the King of Frisia right now. My lord, I've just had the best idea. Let's take over Constantinople and convert the population to Norse to make them share the technology with us. Local village lunatic. And yet that's actually a fairly sane suggestion. Yes, as one of the Kushites. Oh, interesting. Also, Stronkball, Pengu LV, and Kays, thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. How goes it in Viking land? We have just, and literally just, pressed the button to reform our faith. So we're gonna have to do some converting, but that shouldn't take that long. And we're basically trying to decide what we want to do next, because I haven't decided yet. And we're currently in the process of raiding France, because this is the first time that I've seen the French army drop below about 6,000 soldiers. And we're also seriously considering a war against Lotharingia, because their army is only 1,600. It is the weakest I've ever seen them. And that would allow me to go and take, for example, Maastricht off of them. Possibly even Zutphen. In fact, what duchies are these part of? You're part of the Helra Duchy, which I already own. Antwerp is a part of Sweden, I think. Maastricht is in the Jülich Duchy. And Aachen is independent still. So if I could take the Duchy of Jülich off of them, and then take out Aachen, that would allow me to expand quite a lot. And I think that Aachen is, yeah, it's also high development. Like all of this stuff is compared to Scandinavia. England's still too strong. Special decision if you are Norse and control everything in Normandy, which immediately creates the Norman culture and flips everything you control to Norse. Okay. Interesting to do in a future game maybe, but not really what I want to. Seems a bit too easy. Can we take Constantinople and convert the Hagia Sophia to a longhouse? I mean, it's being converted to so many things over its life. Maybe. Sophia endorses me. Champion has arrived, whom we've already hired. Oh, Sophia replaced the previous guy. Interesting. And now, can I have female champions? No, and I'm not sure why. We did get an extra champion somewhere along the way. Where'd you come from? From my domain. Oh, because we completed... Right, yeah. Interesting, because we... because we own Roskilde and we built the sparring grounds here, I get more... See, tribal territories are just so much more useful than feudals. Like, I'd be less irritated if I could convert feudal into tribal. Because I literally can't build anything in the feudal stuff. It's useless to me. It's just none of this is available, not even like the basic stuff. And I do wonder if that's going to change when we eventually get city planning. I hope it does. Ah, this is frustrating. Mr. Provisional, thank you very much for the new subscription. Welcome to the Maudlings. Making good use of the September. And in fact, that is a good opportunity to say, it's September, which means that you get discounts on subscriptions, and if you are resubscribing this month, there is a way of getting the discount as well. So currently it counts only for new ones. So instead of pressing the button for resubscribe, if you let your subscription elapse and then manually resubscribe, then you'll get the discount as well. I was going to reform my religion, but right before I could, my ruler died and I lost all of his piety. Yeah, that's what I've been kind of terrified about with this run. Because Innkeeper is a very good theologian. He's been working as a theologian his entire life. And he's fragile. I'm surprised that this man has survived as long as he has. Sorry, he's frail, not fragile. He's the worst one. Fragile is the slightly stronger version of frail. Anyway, I need to make decisions. I'm looting France. Let's continue looting France. The Austerou Reformation. At long last, I have managed to gather every important Godai in the world together so we can discuss our beliefs and establish the official doctrine to guide our faith in the future. These Austerou Godai are encouraging cooperation and tolerance even towards non-believers, and are asking all adherents to put old disputes aside and come together in the sake of this new faith. The Austerou Godai have chosen allllll as their new Fylkir, who will determine the religious doctrines and arbiter interfaith disputes for the entire Austerou world. So allllll is the new head of faith. Are you based somewhere? No. You just have a duchy rank realm, but you're unlanded. That's interesting. Can I give you land? Because I'd give you Trondheim if I could. She's quick, mastermind philosopher, 24 learning. Because I'd quite happily give you this. Oh, I could marry you and then do that. Bring you into my court. I can't select you. It is my Pope. But there is one very interesting thing about this being the Pope, which I didn't think was even possible in CK3. She doesn't have land and she has titles. I didn't think you could do that in CK. So this would suggest that it is technically possible to play as a noble order. For a player, because even in... Actually, that's not true. Because you had mercenary companies and holy orders before, didn't you? Take her as a concubine. I don't think you can. Religious heads can exist even if unlanded in TK2. Okay. Yeah, I can select somebody for them to marry. I mean, what if we chose George? Oh, we can! Well then, I think that you deserve some money. And how about now? Oh man. -3. We are so close. No, my sons are married. He's the only male option that we have. Are we out of physician again? No, we still have one. Ah, bugger. Yeah, I could land him. I can give him Trondheim. In fact, let's do that. So to make sure we have the right guy, we're going to go to piety, to you, arrange marriage, to George. So you... Oh, you're Old Norse. Let's convert you first of all. Thank you. Then we're going... Well, what if we do it now? Hopefully in that 2 days that I've had it on pause, she hasn't got married. She didn't. What about now that he's the right faith? -2. And matrilineal you would accept. And actually matrilineal would work fine. So what I'm going to do is Trondheim. Where's George gone? There he is. Grant title. Trondheim. Oh. Giving titles away has been giving me stress. I hadn't even noticed. Then George. He's not in my court anymore, son of a bitch. Ah. But he's still my vassal. I should be able to command him who to marry. Yeah, but if I'd done it matrilineally, then he would have joined her court. All I'm trying to do is give her some land. And considering this is like the most holy place in the Norse faith, it seems reasonable. When's the autosave? That's... yeah, I hadn't saved in time. Bugger. I can't invite you to my court, can I? No. Bugger. We tried. And now that we've given that territory away as well, well, I'm sorry, George, but I'm gonna need you to not be here anymore. No, I can't do it because I'm just... That's really annoying. Alright, back to raiding. Damn. Don't think I'm allowed to revoke. And it'll piss off the rest of the realm. Oh no, of course I can revoke. I can't even select his title. Mystical knowledge. I've come across a book describing how ancient devotees use trances and visions of ecstasy to commune with Asgard. It seems a strange practice in our modern age. Perhaps there is something we can learn from it. I wonder what would happen if I imitate their practices, or what do the other texts say? Well, let's read a bit more about it. Be handy if you could offer land as part of the marriage offer, yeah. And you used to be able to just give land to people, even if they weren't in your court, because I used to do that all the time to holy orders. She's a sinner. Oh, I'm really annoyed I gave Trondelag away to him now. I'm half tempted to reform the faith again, because we haven't lost that much, and I know exactly what I did. Oh, but she probably wouldn't be the head of faith this time. Because I'm guessing that that's just a randomly created character.